I certainly improved from a couple of days ago when we first arrived here, but I think a bit of sunshine generally does that as well. It seems like, I've said from the start, I think the wicket's going to have some pace and bounce, there's no doubt about it. I think it naturally does here in Centurion, but I think it's a pretty good wicket. It's tough to start as a batsman, but generally you've got a fast outfield, pretty small ground, so if you can do the work early, once you get in, it's quite a nice place generally to bat here. Yeah, if the wicket's looks like a bowler-friendly pitch, then it'd be a very easy decision to win the toss and bowl. If the wicket's flat and looks good for batting, then it'd be a very easy decision to win the toss and bat. So I'm not stressed either way. I have absolutely no idea. That'll be a decision for the coach and the other selectors. But I would imagine in my opinion, once you're on tour, so it's not like it's a 3-hour flight back to Australia. It's a long way. I think all the players have found that it's taken a little longer than we expected to get over jet lag as well. So I would be surprised, but again, if they think that's in the best interest of getting guys right for the second test and the third test, then they'll make that decision, and I'll live with whatever decision's made. I think it's a bonus, there's no doubt about it. I think when you look at the South African team, Jacques Kallis, through his career, has done a critical role for the South African team. I think we've seen through our most recent series against England back in Australia that, Shane Watson didn't bowl as many overs as a lot of people would have expected. So I think it would be a bonus. Ideally, you'd love every batsman in your team to be able to bowl. That would make life a lot easier, but I think whatever the selectors decide to go with, they feel it's the best 11 to help us win a test match in these conditions. Whether that is the extra bowler or the 6 specialist batters. I think conditions will determine what 11 they come up with more than worrying too much about that 5th bowler. I think the Australian players deserve a lot more credit than that for the way they performed throughout the summer. I certainly don't think it's someone else's poverty that allows you to win 5-0 in a major test series. I think it's a great test for this team, there's no doubt about it. We're playing the number 1 team in the world in their own backyard. In my opinion, South Africa is always a fantastic place to come to. We always get looked after well here. I know all the guys have felt extremely comfortable since landing here. We know the cricket is always competitive. South Africa, through my career, has always been as tough a team that I've ever played against. We have a wonderful relationship and respect for each other off the field, both teams, but I think you'll definitely see some hard-fought cricket on the field. And it's been that way through my whole career, so I'm certain this tour will be no different. Again, I think where we sit on the rankings is a fair indication to how we've played over the past couple of years, and I think it's a fair indication to how South Africa have played over the last, probably 4 or 5 years. They've earned the number 1 ranking. They're the best team in the world. They're extremely tough to beat anywhere in the world, but especially in their own backyard. And that's a challenge you want as a player. You want to be playing against the best to see how you are, how you measure up individually, and also as a team. It's a great challenge and test and opportunity for this Australian team who's high on confidence at the moment through the success we had through the Australian summer, but we're up against a very good opposition, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, but I don't think you become number 1 in the world overnight as well. I think South Africa deserve a lot of credit for the way they've played over the past, it hasn't been 6 months, 12 months, it's been years. They've been extremely successful for a long time now, and they've got a great mix of youth and experience in their team. They've earned the right, there's no doubt about it, to be the number 1 team in the world. We've studied our opposition like we do before every series. We've looked at every individual players, looked at their strengths and where we feel we can find a couple of weaknesses, but they're a very good team. So now it's about execution over long periods to have success against the team. I think both teams are going to have to bat well, there's no doubt about it, because we're playing against there's 2 very good attacks. I think it's going to be a challenge for the batters. I think also wickets are conducive to fast bowling. They have been in the past in South Africa, which makes it a little bit tougher. But like I say, that's the challenge you look forward to as a batsman. I think it's going to be a real good test, a really good challenge for the Australian batters to come up against some of probably the best bowlers that I've faced in my career. I think this South African attack is as good as an attack as I've ever played in my career. Again, they're 3 very different bowlers. And now if they play a 4th fast bowler, they're 4 very different bowlers, and Jacques did that role very well for them. So we have to be at the top of our game, there's no doubt about it.